ghosts, spirits, poltergeists, demons. Do they exist? Is there life after life? Are there unseen entities around us? Can they communicate? Do you believe? What happens in the shadows doesn't always stay in the shadows. Live from Northwest Georgia, covering the region and beyond, this is Georgia Paranormal Radio. And now, here is your host, Mike Watkins.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Georgia Paranormal Radio. This is your host, Mike Watkins, and I'm so glad you've joined us this evening, or this morning, or this afternoon, whatever the case may be where you're at and when you're listening. We're going to have a pretty good episode for you, I think. This will be episode number 32, and we're getting back on schedule here, getting back up to the production quota that I had set for about 3 episodes per month. And this episode is actually going to be an EVP episode of sorts. It's not going to be the shoot you full of EVP episodes that we normally do, but hey, David wanted to do an EVP show, so we're going to do it. And speaking of David, here he is.
Hey, Mike.
Hey. I about forgot to introduce you. So
that's okay.
They would have just wondered, who is that talking?
I'll just sit over here nice and quiet. I think after I started talking, they'd be able to tell.
Yeah, they probably would have. You're more popular than I, so.
But
yeah.
You're right. It's not going to be the normal EVP special that we have. We're actually going to do it from a standpoint where you can tell what to do from beginning to end. We've got a lot of email and got a lot of mail on MySpace asking to go into the whole EVP process, from preparing to go out to collect EVPs, what to do while you're there, and then once you catch your catch and get it home, how to clean it. Sound like I'm fishing.
Well, it sounds, yeah.
But the analogy
it actually works.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Basically what you're doing, you're fishing, and then you got to clean your catch when you come home.
Absolutely. There's a lot of folks that we hear from that say, well, I'm good at getting them. I know they're on there, but I have no clue as to how to get them from my recorder over to my computer. I have no idea what software to use to analyze them, or even where to begin. And so here you go. We're going to be offering, hopefully still, we're going to be offering that EVP training course sometime in the future.
Yeah, as soon as we sit down and get it all planned out.
Things level off. Sometime around Halloween, I think, would be good. But man, Halloween is a busy time of year.
That it is. And it's actually kind of busy for us.
Yeah. So we'll have to work on that and see where we stand. We may have to put it off a little bit longer, or but when we do something, we want to do it right.
Right.
We're not gonna show up and just half do something. So.
Well, we don't want nobody to be disappointed.
No. So. Well, anyway, yeah, I guess we can get started, David.
Pretty much.
Because I have nothing useful to say.
Yeah, we're not going to horse around or cut up or anything like that during this program today.
Says you.
We're going to try to be as serious about it as we can be, and try to. What are you laughing at? And try to get as much information out there for you as possible.
Just thinking, I don't know what house you come to,
cloudy.
But my God,
it's not cloudy. The sky's clear. We ain't got to worry about lightning.
Yeah. So man. Anyway, okay then, Mr. Serious, Mr. Stately and Astute. Please proceed when you are ready.
You put all the pressure on me.
Yeah.
All right. We'll start off with the bare essentials, what you need in order to go out and collect EVPs.
Okay.
All right. Of course, the most important piece of equipment is a tape recorder.
Mm-hmm.
Tape recorder can be anything from a full-size cassette to a micro cassette to the digital technology we have today of digital recorders.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I like digital recorders.
I'm a fan of that too.
Simply because you don't have all the tapes to have to keep up with. If you do capture something that you do want to keep, which I keep everything I have, whether I get EVPs on or not. I always backlog it. That way, if something new comes out or I find something better as far as the line of software to use, then I'll go back and rerun it in case I missed something the first time. But it's a lot easier to compile 200-300 of these things on your computer and then burn it off to a disk.
Yes.
And it takes up a lot less space. So digital technology is all me. I love it. Absolutely.
And no tape noise either from a cassette recorder.
Well, now you're going to get some arguments on that. Some say that the noise that the cassette makes, the micro cassette or the full size, the noise that it creates acts as a medium for the voice in order to come across. The only difference is with the digital technology, that sound is created inside the recorder, and you can't hear it on the outside.
Right.
But it's still there. So, there's a good argument to that. If you've got, as well as I do, we've collected hundreds of EVPs where me and you are just talking, and then over the top of us, or if a car's driving by, over the sound of the car passing by, you have a distinctive humanoid voice.
Absolutely.
So they use the carrier waves that is created by different types of noise in order to get their voice across. So it has some basis to it.
Yeah.
So, but the most important thing you need is the tape recorder. Then the only other essential part that you need is enough common sense how to use it. That's where I lack.
You know how many times I've forgotten to either turn my camera on or turn my tape recorder on?
Or accidentally turn it off after you start it. Yeah. I've done that 1,000 times. So you've got to pay attention to what you're doing. Make sure that you don't screw up like I do a lot of times. I'll turn it on, and then for comfort's sake, I'll either try to put it in my pocket or hang it on my shirt. Then I'll accidentally hit the stop button, and then I'm going an hour and a half and no tape. Matter of fact, we done that a couple of months ago in the cemetery up in Somerville. Recorded about 45 minutes worth of session, I thought. Got in the car to play it back, and there wasn't nothing there to play back. It lasted about 10 seconds.
Yeah. Now, I like my Sony, my old Sony that I have, which is, I say old, it's about 2 years old, which means it's antiquated and outdated in the realm of technology. But it has a lock button on it.
Mine does.
And I really like that. I can lock it on.
I use Olympus, and mine has a lock button on it now, which I use religiously now. To keep from having accidents like that happen again. But that's really the only two essential pieces of equipment that you need. Now, if you're into the micro cassettes and you don't want to have it any other way other than a micro cassette, you will need to invest in a good quality external microphone.
Yeah.
That is to get the noise out of the tape. If you use the internal microphone that's on a recorder, you're going to get a lot of hum, a lot of distortion from where the tape is running reel to reel, but so you want to get away from that. Get an external microphone, get it away from the cassette recorder itself, so that you've got a lot quieter tape.
Absolutely.
But basically that's it. And then you need a place to go.
Yeah.
So and we probably need to touch on that. Anywhere you want to go is probably a good place.
As long as it's not posted.
Fairly much, yeah. As long as you're within the laws. But any place that you can think of is a good place for EVP work. Schools, homes,
churches,
especially churches, I found are just absolutely loaded. And
hospitals,
yeah,
cemeteries,
yeah, anywhere. It can even be outside. I mean, you know as well as I do, we picked up a lot of EVPs just on the outside.
Just being somewhere. I mean,
spirits are everywhere.
Absolutely.
And you don't know what the history to the place that you're at most of the time. So anything could have happened there. Something dramatic could have happened that trapped this soul to that place. And it might be just your front yard. 150 years ago, they got hanged from a tree in your front yard. You don't know that it happened.
No.
But that echo is still there.
Absolutely.
So any place that you want to go, I mean, just that's all you need is a place.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. That brings us up to what we do next, I guess.
Getting them?
Getting them. Catching the fish.
Catching the fish. What kind of bait would you be using?
Well, a lot of people have different ways of doing it, and I do it one of two ways. I either ask pertinent questions, trying to get an intelligent response, or I'll just turn the tape recorder on, let it run, and see what happens. See if I have anything at all as far as EVP wise. Later on, you can go back and you can give the version of where you sit there and talk to them and ask for their response and try to get intelligent conversation from them later. But once you get that EVP, then you know there's something there.
Right.
So you can actually do that. Just wait till later for the intelligent conversation and just test the waters, so to speak, I guess.
That makes good sense.
Anything you want to add to that so far?
I had a brain fart.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
I'm being serious.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll pay for that one for it. So with.
Oh, it's okay.
But either way that you want to do it, once you get your tape completed, then you're on your way home. And that's where all the work comes in. You've had the fun now. You've gone ghost hunting. Now it's time to sit down and actually work to get your stuff. A lot of people are of the opinion that if it takes that much work to bring it out, then it's probably not an actual EVP, because if it was, it'd sound just like me and you sitting here talking now. That's not true.
Rarely ever do they come out that clear.
Rarely ever. And the thing about it is, you've got to realize is that they're not on the same plane that we are anymore. Their voice is going to be speeded up, slowed down. It can even be backwards, reverse speech.
Can sound like it's coming from 1,000,000 kilometers away.
Yeah, it can be just the slightest little whisper, or it can be just a deafening roar. It just depends on the entity, how much energy they have, and how they want to communicate. Which again brings us back up to the software. That's where you are able to pull your EVPs out. I have probably 300 DVDs and CDs that I've downloaded EVPs and pictures on at my house, and probably 3% of the EVPs are good, clear quality EVPs. You can tell what they're saying, no questions asked, right out of the box without having to touch them. Everything else you have to work for.
Absolutely.
So you're going to need a good program for your computer in order to download this to and to edit it. Personally, my favorite, and of course you've got something different. My favorite, because it's so simple. I mean, I'm not a technological inclined person. I don't handle technology very well at all. But this program is extremely easy to operate. Even I can do it. And it's called WavePad. A WavePad is available as freeware. It doesn't cost you a dime. You can go to download.com, www.download.com, type in the word WavePad in their search, and it'll flip it up for you and bring it right up to you so that you can punch on it, download it, and put it on your computer. It's very simple to operate, very easy to operate. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have it. You, on the other hand, like Audacity.
Which I have to say is this program is brought to you in part by the good folks at Audacity, because I'm talking to it right now.
Exactly. And you're familiar with this program. You've learned to use it. You're
I'm good at this
with
program.
it.
Yes.
You're comfortable. I just don't have the technology savvy that you do.
Right. And Audacity, by the way, is also a free program.
Right.
They update it about every 3 or 4 months, work out all the bugs, and which creates new bugs. When they update it, it creates new bugs that they have to work out. But all in all, I like it, but it is a more time-consuming program to learn.
Right. It's a medium program.
It is.
It's a medium program. Mine being the easiest because I'm daft. His being a medium program, what would you say would be the higher scale program?
Oh, that's easy. Cool Edit Pro, which of course now is Adobe Audition.
Right.
Which you'll pay about $300 to $500 for, depending on the bells and whistles. Which
I've got a copy of it, and I paid for it, only to find out you have to be smarter than the program in order to use it.
I can't use that program.
I paid good money for that program, put it on my computer, and cussed because I didn't have enough common sense in order how to use it. And people say, well, if in doubt, read the instructions. You know what? I can't read the instructions because it's in terminology I just don't understand.
Yeah, it's meant for audio professionals.
Exactly.
I mean, it's meant for people with mixing
Which
studios.
leaves me out.
I'm good with technology, but Cool Edit and Adobe Audition, God love you.
Yeah. But to me, like I said, WavePad's my meat and potatoes. That's what I used 99.9% of the time in order to go on and to clean the EVPs up. And just for sake of argument, that's what we're going to use today as a basis, talking about how to clean them up, is the WavePad program.
Works for me.
Simply because I have my handy dandy computer over at my side here, and I can draw it up and tell you about it. But once you learn how to use it, it becomes second nature. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to sit there and study about it. Once you go in and do it 2 or 3 times, it automatically kicks in, and you do it without even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And WavePad's got enough programs on it that you can fairly much do whatever you want to with it.
Good filters, they call them. Filters.
Yeah, filters. You can reverse your speech. You can reverb it if you want to. You can slow it down by percentage. You can speed it up by percentage. You can change the pitch. You can change the speed all by itself. It's got everything in it that I would use, plus a lot more that I don't use.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got the technological smarts in order to use it, WavePad's a good program. You can find good use out of it. But then if you're like me and can't stick your finger up your own nose without help, then WavePad's probably what you want to start with.
And it is a good program. And I will mention this too before we get too much further. With the next website update, I'm going to post those programs that we use most often available for download straight from our website for free, of course.
Well, no, that'd be good.
That way we can just say, go to our downloads page and you can get a copy of Audacity, WavePad, a couple of photo editing programs, other things, I guess.
Yeah, that would be good.
I've been wanting to do that for a while, and we've got the bandwidth available now. So.
Well, it would be convenient for the people.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And that's what we're here for, is to pass on convenient stuff to the people.
Yes. So instead of an actual link, or you have to go look for it on the web, just go to our website. It'll be there.
That's good. That's really
I just can't promise it'll be there within the next 2 or 3 weeks. But as soon as I get time, I'm going to do it.
No, don't talk to me about time. You know what I've been through in the last 3 weeks. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do what you have to for your family first. Everything else comes second.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
all right. Well, I hate to be the narrator, but this is probably a good spot for a commercial for a few minutes.
Okay. Well, all right then. The first portion of our program was brought to you by Bebop a Rhubarb Pie.
Yeah.
Nothing takes the taste of shame and humiliation out of your mouth like a piece of rhubarb pie. Actually, no. This part of our program has been brought to you, like every week. The show is brought to you by the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team. Hey, if you're in the Northwest Georgia area within, say, 100 miles of the big city of Lafayette and need a paranormal investigation, or want to join our motley crew of investigators, well, hey, you're welcome to it. So let's just hear from the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team, and not Bebop a Rhubarb Pie. Hey folks, Mike Watkins here. Many of you know me as the host of Georgia Paranormal Radio, but I'm also the founder and general manager of the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team, which is an anchoring sponsor of this program. The Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team was founded back in 2004 as a scientifically based research and documentation team. This investigative group has over 17 years of combined experience in dealing with the paranormal, and the unique perspectives and specialties that each member investigator contributes really gives you the full package. You can trust the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team to thoroughly, yet discreetly and confidentially, investigate and document any paranormal phenomenon that you may be experiencing. The Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team serves a large area of North Georgia, North Alabama, and even Southeast Tennessee. As always, their time and services are 100% free of charge. All they ask for is an invitation from you to let them investigate those cold spots, bumps in the night, or anything else paranormal. And contacting them couldn't be any easier either. Just go to www.nwgapit.com and check them out. The Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team, proudly bringing you Georgia Paranormal Radio and proudly investigating what you fear. All right, good folks, we are back, and we hope you enjoyed hearing from our good sponsor, the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team. I'm about to crack up because I want to sing the Bebop or Rebarb Rhubarb Pie theme song to you folks, but that would get me taken off the air.
Can't be no worse than powdered biscuits.
Powder milk biscuits, the one in the big blue box with a brown stain on the side. Yep, you know, if your family's tried them, folks, you know you've satisfied them. They are the real hot item, powder milk. Powder milk biscuits, big blue box.
I worry about you sometimes.
Yeah, really, there's, like I said in the break, there's going to be like 3 people that get that reference.
But now we got that out of the way, I don't have to worry about you sitting there breaking up and snickering. Well, maybe I will.
Well, there's the ketchup advisory panel. You know, ketchup contains natural mellowing agents, which makes life better.
Okay.
And makes it more tolerable.
Maybe I need to eat more ketchup.
Well, I was going to ask, are you getting enough ketchup in your diet, Dave?
Evidently not, because I needed about a bottle and a half of it when I first come in today.
Yes, indeed. Well, all right, now that we've referenced a Prairie Home Companion with Garrison Keeler for the last 10 minutes, back to the EVP Bassmaster show here.
Yeah, that works.
And
we need to backtrack for just a minute, I guess. Got to thinking about it while we were on break and everything. We're fixing to start talking about in just a minute about the programs that you use in order to clean the EVPs up. But one thing that I guess we need to go into is that with a cassette recorder and with a digital recorder, you actually have 2 different cables that you will end up having to use in order to download your EVPs onto your computer.
Yes, indeed.
One is a male-to-male audio cable,
which is what I use because I'm old-fashioned and don't have the USB connectivity on my recorder.
The male-to-male connector you use mostly for cassette recorders, microcassette and full-size tape recorders, and all it is just a cord with 2 male connections on each end. You plug one into the recorder, one into the audio port of your computer, and then what you do is you'll just push play and let the recorder run while you're recording on your computer.
Right.
Now the bad thing about this is if you've got 45 minutes worth of audio, you're going to download for 45 minutes.
Absolutely.
It's minute per minute
actual
download.
Transfer time.
The only saving grace that you have is if you use digital technology, then some of them, most of them now, when they first came out they didn't, but most of them are able to take USB cords.
Yes.
Which you plug it into the USB port on your computer, and generally they come with a disc or already preloaded programming inside the microcassette, and basically will download an hour and a half of audio in less than a minute, very quickly. One of the drawbacks that you will get to this is that you will lose some audio clearness to it.
I say I was going to ask that because I hear a lot about compression problems.
Yeah, you will lose some of the audio quality that you've got. Depending on the quality of the tape recorder that you've got, whether it's cassette or digital, you lose some of the quality in transferring it. USB is bad about losing some of the quality and transfer, but depending on the make and the model, how much you actually lose. So, you know, personally, I like the USB cable. Even though I'll lose a little bit of quality to it, it's just more handy. It takes a lot less time to download than what a male-to-male connector does. I don't know about the good folks out there, but a lot of times I just don't have. And you know, there's sometimes where we get an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours worth of audio out of one investigation. And I just don't have the 2 hours to sit there and wait for it to download.
The only perk I see, and the only thing I guess I make the best of the time whenever I'm transferring over from my digital using the male-to-male connector, is I take that time to sit down with a piece of paper and a pen, and while it's transferring over to the computer, I listen to see if I can pick up any anomalies, and I make a note of the timestamp, and that way it just makes it simpler to go back and edit later.
Well, see, now that goes into another thing about the difference in programming. You using Audacity, me using WavePad. And WavePad, as you download it, you can't listen to it.
Oh, really?
No.
Wow.
It's silent. It's a silent download.
Okay.
On Audacity, you're able to hear it actually while you're recording it to your computer.
Yeah, live stream.
So I'm not able to do that. So that would be a good thing to do. Also, if you like me and got more computers than you know what to do with, we have 2 computers just in the living room, one for my wife, one for me. If I'm downloading audio on one, I'm downloading pictures on the other. So while the audio is downloading, if I'm not using a USB connector, if it's going to take 35 minutes to download it, then I'll just go through the pictures on the other computer.
Right.
So I've not actually got any downtime. I can actually multitask.
Master multitasker.
Boy, now there's a big word for somebody so simple as I am. Multitask.
You've been reading my MySpace
That
profile,
means I can chew bubble gum and walk at the same time without falling down.
You're supposed to be able to do that?
Well, I trip, but I don't fall all the way.
Oh,
down.
okay. Well, as long as you catch yourself.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. I use both computers pretty religiously. That's what I like to do. But again, the difference in the recorders means that you're going to be using 2 different types of cables. And they don't come with a micro cassette. You have to go out and buy this.
Yes.
Most every place that sells stereo equipment will sell either USB cables or the male-to-male adapters. Either one. So they're not hard to find. If you're a person like me and like to eBay, Yahoo, then they're easy to find on eBay. You just type in what you want and it goes right to them. So they're not hard to find. They're not hard to use, but you need to play with it a little bit, get comfortable with it, just to make sure you're doing it right.
Absolutely. And it's like, the software and the recorders, like any piece of technology that you're going to use, not just in the ghost hunting field, but don't go out without ever having tested it and played with it.
Right.
Because you never know what you're going to get.
We've talked a little bit about the connectors, about which ones that you need for what type of recorder. Let's go back one more step where you're actually collecting the EVPs.
Okay.
And I said there's 2 processes that I use, which one is trying to get intelligent conversation, and the other one just turning the tape recorder on and just pot luck, I guess you'd say. See if something's there willing to make a statement or to say something.
Kind of like documentary mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there is another way that you can do it if you wish. You can take a tape recorder, you can leave it into a room, and you can leave that room. And I do that a lot at night with my girls while they sleep. Whenever they're having nightmares or things of such nature, that I've come to find out through the EVP work that they're not alone in there, and they're having some prodding.
Yes.
So the nightmares that they're having and such. But you can do that. If you have children and you want to find out whether or not they are truly alone in that room or not, if they're having nightmares, having problems sleeping, if they come to you and say, some man was in my room, or I can't sleep because Joe Bob Billy won't leave me alone, don't just sit there and not believe anything they say. Take the time to put a tape recorder in that room while they sleep. You might honestly be surprised at what you will capture on that recorder at night that you know are not your children.
Yeah. And we've played several samples on here before.
Well, I blowed it off for a long time. They have imaginary friends, and they would always, Joe Bob Billy won't leave me alone. I just saw somebody, and as a matter of fact, this past weekend, my daughter come running into the living room, pale as, pardon the pun, a ghost, and was just all beside herself, telling her mother that somebody in black boots just walked into their room, turned around, and walked out.
Goodness.
There was nobody else in there. So, and she was adamant about it. So we didn't dispel it. We didn't tell her that she was crazy. We didn't tell her there's no such thing as a ghost.
Right.
I turned the tape recorder on and actually captured some EVPs in the house.
Sweet deal.
So, if they come in there and tell you that something's not right or something's wrong, take the time to put a tape recorder in there. Fine. Worst case scenario, you don't get nothing. Then you can start wondering about whether the child is, just too active imagination or what. But if you start getting a lot of EVPs and you start hearing your children being restless at night before and after these EVPs come across, then your children are perceiving these in their sleep.
Absolutely. And children are, I mean, it's well thought that children are more perceptive than we are anyway.
They haven't been told 10,000 times yet that ghosts don't exist.
Absolutely.
They're more open to it than what adults are. We've had it beat in our heads all of our life. There's no such thing as ghosts, no such things as monsters, there's no such thing as demons. Go back to sleep, everything will be fine, you'll wake up in the morning. Well, that may be true. You may wake up in the morning, but the part about no such thing as ghost or anything, well, you need to take a closer look. Don't just dispel what your child has told you. And I'm being very adamant about that simply because of experiences that I've had in my house with my children. And thought was going to have to call the priest out one weekend. I called Mike all in a frizzle. But it happens.
Oh, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it happens more than what you would like to think that it happens. Your children start getting restless, put a tape recorder in there. I don't know how much more adamant I can be about that. Try it, honestly. And then give me a call and let me know what you find, because you're going to need to talk to somebody when you listen to it the first time, I promise.
Yeah. Yeah. Having heard things that go on in there, wow. Yeah, it amazes me. It makes me wonder if when I was a kid the same thing didn't happen.
I'm sure it did.
I'm sure.
I'm sure it did. And it still happens in just about every house that a child lives in. Spirits are attracted to children for two reasons. One, they perceive them. They know they're there. The spirits that try to contact them or have something to do with them don't want to be dead. They want contact with the living. The only contact they can have is someone that can perceive them.
Right.
Whether it be in the lines of a psychic or someone that's sensitive or a child, because they haven't had it beat into their head that, they don't exist. The second reason that they will hang around a child is because a child is nothing more than a large battery.
Energizer Bunny
That's
syndrome.
They're just a large battery. They're full of energy. Think about it. How much would you give to have as much energy as your child does? I'm 46 years old. If I had a third of the energy that either one of my children have got, I'd be happy.
Oh, yeah.
And spirits perceive this. They know that they're full of energy. While they sleep at night, you know what they do? They take some of this energy in order to keep themselves regenerated.
Makes good sense.
So, that's the reason they hang out in a child's room. So don't, like I said, I can't be more adamant about this. Don't dispel what your children is talking about an imaginary playmate or about somebody is bothering them at night while they try to sleep. Take the tape recorder, put it in there, find out for yourself. And then, like I said, call me, because you're going to want to talk to somebody. Either that or you're going to want some Catholic priest to come real quick with a cross and holy water.
And, which, speaking of that, part-time job time coming up. I need the extra money. You can just call me Father Watkins, and I'll be happy to bless your house, laddie. And do you have a wee nip of whiskey there with you? Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have went there with it. The Catholics are going to be mad now.
What are you going to do when they leave their house and come home with you?
I'm calling a real Catholic priest is what I'm going to do.
And that happens, too.
Yeah.
Happens a lot.
Yes. Well, investigation we had the other night, which you weren't privy to because your area was under massive thunderstorm storm warnings there.
Yeah.
I think I just created a new weather condition, thundernados.
Yeah. It was messy down around our house. And I'm not griping because we need the rain.
Oh, absolutely.
I ain't saying a bad thing about it. I hope it does it again.
Well, we were actually going to head down, not to digress from the EVP show, we were going to head down to that city with some guests. We had some guests from Florida with us.
Yeah, that I hate that I didn't get to meet.
Nice people. Red Feather's his name. His real that's his Indian name. His real name's Marco, and his wife Maggie, and great people. We ended up having to divert to Lafayette here because we were going down the highway and I could see the lightning striking.
Oh, it was
your
bad.
county.
It was
and
bad.
Your town.
Yeah, it was bad.
I called you and I was like, hey, is it storming down there? And after the thunderclap, I said, yeah, I bet it is.
Yep, here's your sign.
So we diverted here in town, and that was one thing though. I went a long way to say this. We made contact with the spirit where we were at, and had some phenomenon happen, and some good dowsing experiments were done. And I made sure before I left to say, I called this spirit by name because that's what it had told us its name was. I said, you cannot come with us.
Yeah.
Stay where you're at.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I am too crowded at home as it is.
There's enough people talking in my head already. Wait.
Yeah, there should have been sufficient electrical energy in the air that night.
There were lightning strikes about 5 miles away.
Yeah. And that makes a difference.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that really would have interrupted us, it started sprinkling, and we were still able to do the dowsing in the rain, which was just a wonderful experience because that rain was nice and refreshing.
But you're sitting there holding a lightning rod.
Basically, I was holding copper rods.
Yeah.
Not smart.
Not smart.
But we saw the good fireworks display. Friday night was the Freedom Festival here in Lafayette, and we were on a vantage point there at the cemetery where we could see most of downtown Lafayette from where we were. And
so they got a dinner and a show.
They got dinner and a show.
Okay.
And then we went to Crystal and spent 3 hours there talking. Then I had something follow me home from Crystal, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that was probably nastier than what you would have had follow you home from the cemetery.
Yeah, it was a different story. Anybody who doesn't know what a crystal is, it's for
Gut
you.
bomb.
Yeah, for you northern people, it's a White Castle with a red building.
Yeah.
I mean, it's White Castle hamburgers, and they're so delicious. But God, you pay for it when you eat them.
Yeah, you do.
So.
You do.
Anyway, so we've.
Now that we've sidetracked, as we're famously knowing to do.
Well, people enjoy our trips into the irrelevant.
Our little banter.
Everybody's got to have a hobby, people. So now we've got...
And we're good at it, too.
It's been so long since we've got together, David. I just can't keep a straight face for some reason. There's so many things, there's so many jokes I wish I could tell you. But
not on this show.
No. Anyway.
But now that we've got all the how-to and far else and everything out of the way, the chords, the recorders and everything, and what programs that you can, or, if you want to, if you don't want to use them, you don't have to. If you've already got a favorite that you like to use, or something else that you're thinking about other than what we suggested, now we're going to go into actually cleaning the EVP up, I guess you would say.
Okay.
Less than probably 2% of any EVP that you collect. If you collect, we'll say round number 2 hours of EVP work, and you download it, if you get any EVPs off of it at all, less than 1% of them are going to be right out of the box where you can understand and know exactly what it was saying. You get good Class A's every now and then, but they're far and few between.
Right. You have to really put in a lot of time to get a lot of Class A's. And
Class B's are very common, and they're really not that hard to clean up. They're the easiest one to clean up that there is if you have to clean one up. Class C's take a little bit of work, a little bit of time, and then anything down below that is usually just crap.
Yeah, it's garbage. I mean,
yeah, because you're usually not going to be able to clean it up enough in order to tell what it's saying, in the first place. So I don't waste my time much on C's.
Now, you've got some audio clips.
Got some audio clips.
The first one, the initial audio clip, and for those of you who are new to the program or new to the way we work on EVP shows, normally what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about an EVP. We won't tell you what it says until after it's played, but we play it and loop it 3 times. That way, the first time you hear it, a lot of times you just don't get it. And then the other 2 times help clarify it and help solidify it in your memory. Well, this first clip we're going to play, if you're ready for me to play it, Dave.
Yeah, anytime.
The first clip that we're going to play is very long.
Only going to play it one time.
We're only going to play this one time. It's about 58 seconds long.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take 3 minutes of airtime playing this over and over. This is raw. Yeah,
this is absolutely raw footage off of my Olympus digital recorder.
Okay.
And since we're not going to have to give you, on down the road, tell you what it's saying or anything like that, because, basically this is just how to.
Right.
So I'll tell you right up front, you're probably going to hear this and you're probably not going to be able to distinguish very much of the conversation in it at all. Now, leading up to this point, it was a single family residence that was being moved out of, that I had the occasion to be at because of my job duties. There was nobody else in this house other than me. Now keep that in mind when you listen to this, because you've got about 58 seconds that you're going to hear a lot of conversation in. But it ain't me. And there ain't nobody else for me to have a conversation with other than myself, and I usually don't talk to myself where people will know it.
Yeah, not where he'll ever
So
admit
it's
it,
not me. Now, one in particular spot, the very first words that you start hearing in this, if you'll pay close attention, there will be two sets of voices that you will hear. One is a male subject. Over that voice, you will hear someone counting 1, 2, 3 in a very low voice. But if you'll listen for it, you can hear two separate voices on that one piece. Very first voices that you're going to hear is where that's at. And I'll shut up and let you play this, and then we'll go into more of it.
Okay, I will say this too, as one initial disclaimer, or one final disclaimer, I should say, is that this is raw audio, save one thing. I enhanced the volume, just the volume, for playback on the air by about 10 decibels.
Well, it was a little low.
So it was a low, and I didn't want people to have to strain to hear raw, which a lot of times you will have to strain to hear raw data. But I enhanced it by about 10 decibels, and so here you go. Okay, yeah, I know that's a little long, folks, but hey, if you catch it, you got to clean it.
Right.
So.
And again, like I said, I'm by myself. There's nobody there. There's nobody talking in the background. There's nobody in this house to talk in the background. Everything that you're hearing on that is EVP. Not very good EVP, but it's EVP. So once you get this footage and you want to try to clean it up a little bit, first thing you want to do after you load it into your computer is to isolate it. In order to isolate what you're wanting to listen to, you use your mouse and go up to it, highlight it from the point that you first want to start listening to the section that you want to stop at. You highlight that area.
Mm-hmm.
Now once you got that highlighted, the only thing that's going to play back when you push play is just that one small area. Now play it back 2 or 3 times. Listen to it carefully. Can you tell what any of it is saying? Can you tell that it's a humanoid voice, or could it possibly be something else? If you have any doubts in your mind that it could be something else, discard it.
Yes.
Because if there's any doubts in your mind that it's something other than an EVP, you don't want to put it out there for somebody to listen to it trying to pretend that it's something else.
Yep.
You don't want to do that. So if you're 100% positive that it wasn't you talking or somebody else that was with you talking, and that it could not have come but from anywhere else other than the paranormal, then the next stage that you want to do is to clean it up. In order to clean it up, the first thing you got to be able to do is hear it. So what you want to do is, if it's a little low and you can't hear it very well, you want to amplify it. You want to make it louder. Go in, change your amplification up. Now Mike was talking about it. He did it 10 decibels.
I put 10 decibels on this.
Okay,
yes.
and that's a pretty good bit of volume. That's added a lot of volume to it. Now on my program, on the amplification, it goes by percentages.
Mm-hmm.
You go in 10%, 20%, 30%. whatever you're comfortable with and that you can hear it well, that's where you want to stop at. Don't want to overdo it. Don't want to get it too loud because then you're going to start drowning it out. Now, once you've got it amplified, how high that you want it to go, the next thing you're going to do is listen to what's being said. If you hear something in there that you can halfway, well, that sounds like my name's Billy Joe Bob, but I'm not sure. Go in, highlight that area, slow it down. Slow it down by 10% to start with. See how much of a difference that makes. Once you start slowing it down, you're going to find that the words are pronounced a lot easier for you to recognize. Now, you may have to go down on some of them as much as 60, 70, 80% in order to get it slowed down enough so that you can tell what it's actually saying. Once you get it to where you are listening to it and you can understand the words, then you can save that small section of tape and you've got an EVP. Now, we'll go into a little bit about slowing the speech down. 98.6%, maybe a little bit more than that.
Good body temperature.
Yeah, good body temperature. And but 98% or better of the time, your EVPs are going to be extremely fast. Yes. You're going to have to slow them down. Again, they're not on our plane. Our laws of gravity and everything else don't apply to them. What is normal to us is not normal to them. Their speech can be reversed, it can be fast, it can be slow. You've just got to play with it, find out exactly which one it is. If you hear something on there, then you know it's too fast. You like that?
I thought I was in Atlanta for a minute.
Gas station, right?
Oh, thank you very much, buddy. Thank you very much for buying gas with us. You are very, very kind.
You can listen to it and tell whether it's too fast or too slow. If it is too fast, start slowing it down little by little. If your program does it by percentages, start with a good base and start at 10% and work your way down from there. Sometimes, and I'm saying sometimes because I've actually found this to be the case in some of them, if you play it forward and you slow it down and can't make no sense out of it, and you speed it up and you can't make no sense out of it, just for sake of argument, go up and hit reverse.
Oh, yeah.
You might be surprised at the number of times that something actually clear in reverse will come out that you can argue with as far as being humanoid speech and what it's saying.
Yeah, that's reverse speech on EVPs happens a lot.
A lot. Yeah. The way I normally do my EVPs is once I start playing them, I'll play it from beginning to end, and then once I get through doing what I'm doing, I'll go back and I'll play the whole thing again in reverse and start listening for speech patterns that are recognizable. And I pulled a lot of EVPs out in the reverse speech.
Absolutely.
And it's not some of this stuff that you hear like on radio, talk shows and things like that of, the Evil Dead saying, "My heart bleeds for you," but in reverse it's saying, "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to eat your dog," and all that. It's actually recognizable speech. Like me and you sitting here talking.
Yes.
It's not garbled. It's not jumbled. It's just normal everyday speech. And the first time that somebody gets that, it's like, now how in the world did that happen? But like I said, they're not governed by our physical laws.
No, it's It makes people like me who fancy themselves amateur quantum theorists scratch their head because I'm an amateur quantum theorist.
I'm just an amateur.
I can spell quantum. They had it on Star Trek one day.
ZEBCO, ain't it? Zebco?
Pretty close.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going back to the fishing thing. Never mind. Now that I've rambled for the last 5 or 10 minutes, let's do this. Let's bring on the second clip. I'm sitting here talking about all this, and I keep forgetting we've actually got audio clip here.
Yeah, and that noise, by the way, I didn't know that we were.
Slurpee.
Yeah, I didn't know we were still on the air, and I'm drinking a McDonald's Premium Roast Vanilla Coffee iced. It's a new product they've got.
That's just nasty.
I'm a big fan of iced coffees
That's
and
just
iced
nasty.
lattes. So forgive the slurp on the air. I didn't know we were actually still recording.
Sorry.
Whoops. So anyway, yeah, we got 6 other tracks.
Yeah. Now that I'm through rambling for 10 or 15 minutes, let's cue up the second track and play it.
Oh, you did that so well. You're trying to take my job, aren't you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, here's track 2. Okay, that was,
Recording number 2.
recording number 2, which, by the way, it's amazing what buttons will do when you push them.
You're a lot more advanced technologically than I am. I could never do that.
Well, it's Windows XP.
Oh, okay.
You've got that Vista over there,
hate
which just frightens me to
people-
even look at your laptop, by
At
the way.
the risk of never being able to work a computer ever again, if you don't have Vista, don't get it.
Yeah, I've heard many
Please
horrible
don't
things.
get it. Stick with XP, anything that you want to. Don't get Vista. I hate Vista. I've spent more hours trying to figure out how to do it now that I don't have XP. I don't like it at all.
Well, I'm a big fan of XP Pro.
XP Pro is okay, but Vista sucks.
My laptop has got XP Pro on it, and I love it. Of course, that's what we use at work. So I'm very accustomed to using XP Pro and the Eagle derivatives that we have at work.
Okay.
So anyway,
All right. Now that I said Vista sucks on the radio, let's go back to the second recording.
do I need to play the FCC song for you?
No.
Okay.
No. Second recording. What you heard there was an excerpt out of the original recording that I found to be interesting because it sounded like humanoid speech. Whenever I went into it, highlighted the area that I wanted to listen to, played it back. Again, it was still too fast, so I went up and I changed the speed and the pitch of the volume by 63%. And once you do that, it slowed it down enough that you can actually tell a little bit what's being said. Still Class C.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear us. It's what it sounds like it says to me.
Yeah, it does say that, I thought.
But, I mean, once you go in and you change that speed, you can see how much of a difference that it makes. What was garble is now slowed down to something that sounds halfway like you can hear us.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what brings on wanting to go in and clean them up a little bit. Again, it's not a Class A or Class B. It is very arguable in the lines of evidence, but it's interesting.
It is.
You can definitely tell it's humanoid speech. There was no other humans there other than me. I know I didn't say anything. So it gives me the basis to know something is present.
Something's there. Absolutely.
Now, on the third recording, let's go into it.
Okay. All right.
All right. Now, the third recording was the last half of the first, but it was also slowed down to where you could hear what it was saying by 63%.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, "Here he comes." Now, that to me was pretty clear.
I mean, yeah.
Kind of low, but clear. Here he comes. You can tell that's what it's saying.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go to the fourth recording.
You got it. All right.
All right. Now, in this recording, which came from somewhere about almost the last half of the original recording, you could hear humanoid speech, tell that it was going to be some type of EVP. Go in, changed it by 63% again, the speed and the pitch, and one word comes out pretty clear. which is a name, and that's Mary.
Mary. Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not sure what the last word is saying. I'm not sure whether it says, where's that lady or something to that effect. You can't really tell what that's saying. But the name Mary, you can actually hear pretty clearly.
Sticks out.
Now, and again, it sounded just like garble, just like something real fast to begin with, but going in, playing with it, changing that pitch and that speed, dropped it down to something that you could actually understand.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go into number 5.
You've got it.
All right, that's number 5. I have absolutely no idea what's being said there. None whatsoever.
Yeah, flip a quarter.
Human speech, but that's all you can tell about it. You can't make any of the words out. Now, that's after slowing it down 63%.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you have something, after you've slowed it down that much that you can't tell what it is, and you have something like that, and you reverse it, and you don't have anything intelligent in it, throw it away.
Yeah.
I put that on there strictly to show you what you don't want to keep. Throw it away. It's absolutely useless. Sure, it's a good argument that it could or could not have been somebody, something, but you don't have anything in there that you can actually say this is what's being said, so it's garbage.
And I can also tell you that being in a leadership position of a paranormal group and more so a paranormal website where a lot of people come to review our evidence, especially photos and EVPs, which is actually the only evidence we have on there. That we got a lot of people that listen to these EVPs and look at these photos, and if you put something like that on there,
yeah,
you're gonna have problems.
It's gonna hurt your credibility.
Absolutely, gonna have a lot of naysayers, and you're just giving somebody a reason.
Yeah, you're giving them a reason to pick at you.
Absolutely.
That's all you're doing. Try to pick you apart is all it is.
Save that one for the private, scratch your head thing.
I guess I should go ahead and say this too. The recordings that you're listening to on tonight's program is something that I would not normally submit for an EVP program, simply because you can't really tell that a lot about them. But the main reason that I put them on tonight was, case in point, how to collect, how to clean. Show you that, this is going to be what you normally get.
Absolutely.
You're sure you're going to get those Class A's and Class B's occasionally, but 95% of the time, this is what you're going to have as far as EVP work. And it's up to you to play with your program, to get to know it, on whether you can actually clean it up enough so that it can say something, or clean it up enough so that you can say, well, that needs to go in the trash.
Absolutely.
And that, if any doubt at all, people, I mean any doubt, I'll throw away 90% of what I collect.
Mm-hmm.
Strictly because there's, if there's reason to doubt, then there's reason to doubt keeping it.
Absolutely.
I mean, no questions about it. If you get a good, crisp, clear voice that wasn't you, or if there was 2 guys there and the voice you get is female or a child and have no other way to explain it, then keep it. By all means, keep it, because you have something paranormal. But if you get a male voice and there's you or somebody else there and have been talking during the recording, if there's any doubt at all that it could be one of y'all, junk it. All right, let's go into number 6, I believe it is, isn't it?
It is. Here you go.
All right. Number 6, basically saying, can you hear us? Now, I thought that was pretty clear. That's borderlining on a B.
It is a good one.
That's a decent EVP, and that come out of that main section up there that we first started out with, and that's after cleaning it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can sit here and tell you all night long how to go in, change your volume, change your speech, change your pitch, amplify it, but until you actually sit down and start doing it yourself and get comfortable with it, then I'm sitting here talking to the wall.
Absolutely.
So go out. If you haven't got your tape recorder, go out and get you one. Play with it. Get comfortable with it. If you got a computer but you don't have a program on it in order to do this with, download.com, people. Simple. Don't cost a dime. All it costs is just a little bit of memory. That's all it costs. Download it. Play with it. You can even go as far as hooking a microphone up. If you've already got a webcam with a microphone on it, hey, guess what? You don't need a microphone. Already got one. You can use the microphone off of your webcam to record with these programs with. Play at home. Turn the recorder on when it's nice and quiet and you don't have children up running around through the house, which usually means late at night, which is what I do. But turn the recorder on. Just listen to it. See if you hear EVPs, whatever. Anything, any noise that you don't know what is and you can't explain. That's paranormal. Start listening for it. I'll set sometimes I've said as much as 2-3 hours at a time on my computer at home, recording 30-second segments, playing them back, and listening to them.
Absolutely.
Be surprised how many EVPs that you can get. A lot what people don't understand is that the entity don't have to be in your house in order to communicate. If they've got a link with you, it don't matter if you're 200 miles away. If they want to communicate with you, they are going to find a way.
Absolutely.
And, sitting at home at night, late, and playing it for 30 seconds, recording for 30 seconds at a time, playing it back, is where you'll get a lot of these voices from that are actually somewhere else that are trying to make contact with you for whatever reason.
I know. Before we do this last track, let me play devil's advocate here. For those that aren't familiar with the previous EVP shows and previous discussions that we've had, what David just said about the ghost doesn't have to be there may be a little perplexing to you.
Hey,
hello.
I got my wish. If you could hear that, that was thunder.
Absolutely. So the thing of it is David has actually been some points 50, sometimes 150 miles away from this certain location where we know the spirit is, and has gotten EVPs in this person's voice.
Yes.
Now, does that mean that the ghost is following him?
No.
Or does it mean that there's some sort of connection there?
All right, let me go in just a little bit more detail here.
Okay.
Because it's kind of odd, and they'll get a kick out of this. All right. We have an old train depot in our area with several old cars, transport cars. Got seats on them, sleeper cars, such. Made contact with a female spirit there that was very boisterous, for lack of better terms, liked to talk a lot, and would carry on intelligent conversations. Am I lying or not?
Oh, yeah, actually, absolutely.
You could ask a question, they would respond. All right. This certain entity, and anybody that tells you that a ghost or a spirit can't do this is crazy, but somehow, for whatever reason, became attached to me, and was actually very hostile toward my wife on account of it. And I had to actually stop going to that location for a while to let things calm down. There was times where we live in Summerville, Georgia. Atlanta is 110 miles, 120 miles away.
Thereabouts.
There were times while we were in Atlanta running a recorder that we picked up this female entity's voice on the recorder. Now, I know that she ain't with us. Here I am showing my southern roots. Ain't.
It is a word now, by the way. It's in the dictionary.
It used not be.
It is a real word.
But we know that she was not with us. We know that she doesn't follow us home. We know that she is based on that train. For whatever reason,
She feels trapped.
She feels trapped. She can't leave. Most of the messages that I got EVP wise was come back, let me out, get the key, help me. That was the biggest majority of the conversations that would be over the tape recorder while we were 110, 120 miles away. Now, Mike has been with me in Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, at the battlefield.
Absolutely. And
picked up the same woman's voice, basically same conversation.
Yeah.
Help me, let me out, bring me the key. It's amazing.
Yes.
If they get your number, if they want to dial you in and get on your frequency, they can communicate with you anywhere they want to.
Absolutely.
I agree. Is no physical laws that bind these people. What used to be people, these entities. Physical laws do not apply to them. Walls do not stop them. Distance is not a problem. If they tune in to you, they can communicate with you anywhere they want to. Anyway.
And I agree. And, it's digressing or actually moving off topic, but, it's been long believed by many people that each human brain and each human person has their own frequency.
Yes.
Their own magnetic frequency, their own harmonic frequency.
And when I talk about tuning into your frequency, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
It's like fine-tuning a radio station on a shortwave dial. If you just move it just a millimeter, you may go from England to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Picking up radio waves.
Yeah.
And it's the same with humans.
But now, sitting and playing with the computer at night, with a recorder, that is where you're going to find out whether somebody is tuned into you or not, or if somebody is actually wanting to make contact with you. Now, I will tell you this much. You need to be careful for two reasons. One, if they become physically attached to you, if there's, and entities are capable of showing emotion, anger, hate, love, they are capable of displaying any emotion that a living human can. If you tick these entities off, there are repercussions.
Oh, yeah.
Some of what we've been having happen at home, I have to wonder whether or not this one certain entity has got some responsibilities for. My wife has absolutely, on recording now, has just absolutely been cussed out and talked to like a dog, threatened. And it's by this one certain entity. So once you start into this, if you're doing it at home, it's like a Ouija board.
Exactly.
You don't know who you're going to get and what they're going to say. You have no clue.
And how are you going to turn them off? The
only thing and only advice that I can give to you is if they're extremely negative and they're trying to tick you off and make you mad, under no circumstances allow them to. Stay happy. If they said, I hate you, or, I'm going to kill you, simply to say, but I love you, and, I don't want anything bad to happen to you. Go totally the opposite the way that they're going, because the more negative energy that you put out, the more they're going to feed on. The more they feed on, the stronger they're going to get.
Why do you think that fear is such a powerful thing?
It is. Hate and fear is probably two of the strongest emotions that there are.
Absolutely.
And once they start feeding on this, they're going to do everything in their power in order to make you either angry or fearful in order to feed on your energy. The more powerful they get, the more problems you've got. So that's just a word of warning.
And it occurs to me, too, I'm just sitting here thinking back to my EMT class and, anatomy and physiology. Those two, fear and hatred, are actually, if I'm not mistaken, the only two emotions that humans experience that cause adrenaline to be released, which is more energy.
More energy.
I mean, love usually doesn't cause an adrenal reaction.
No.
Because you've got your fight or flight mechanism for hatred and for fear.
Right.
So, anyway, maybe adrenaline has something to do with increased energy flow.
If there's any doubts in your mind about what's going on, if you're playing with this late at night on your computer, simply turn your computer off. Don't let it control you. Don't get to the point where you're sitting there going, well, I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I've got to find out. Don't let it control you like that, because when they're starting to control you that way, you got problems.
Oh, yeah.
If there's any doubt that it's going to get ugly or that you've reached something that you don't want to, simply turn it off, walk away from it. All right, enough said about that. Let's go into the last recording.
Okay.
This particular piece was not in the section of tape that I got to use as an illustration. It came later on. Now, again, I said I was by myself. Nobody present with me in the house. There definitely wasn't no child. So, take a listen to number 7.
Okay.
All right. Now, as you could tell, there was a child humming to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing, I'm not sure. I ain't got a clue what is being said, but there's something being said. And the last part of it is either then go home or got to go home.
Mm-hmm.
One of the two. Now, I didn't touch that. I didn't slow it down. I didn't speed it up. I left it just like it was because it's actually very good EVP.
Yes, I will say this. It has been edited by me for the upmixing process.
Okay.
It was boosted by 2 decibels.
But we're talking about volume. We're not
Volume.
talking about pitch.
No
we're not
pitch,
talking
no
about
speed. No equalization.
Right.
Just a 2 decibel increase in the sound level.
That is definitely a keeper EVP.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can hear the humming going on. And at the last, you can actually tell. Class B, I mean, there's some argument about what's actually being said, but definitely something about going home. So instead of going in and changing that EVP any way at all, I left that thing alone. Because to me, that was fine.
Yeah. Oh,
now,
yeah.
Now, you might want to do it a little bit different. You might want to clean it up just a little bit to make it a little bit more attractive. But, I don't care about making them attractive. I care about what's being said and that being able to tell what it is, and that was good enough for me.
Oh, it's a good quality. Good quality. And like I say, the only thing I did, and that's the secret, of the show, I suppose. It's not really a secret per se. But as the host, director, and producer of this show, yeah, a lot of grand titles for just saying that I'm the one who does all the leg work, all the computer work on it, mixing it and everything. I upmix these things and add a little bit of decibels to the volume just because there's something lost in the upmix process. It happens with any program that I've used to mix this program. So,
All right. Well,
but other than that, it's untouched.
I hope that I wasn't too confusing on this program. I really do, because if you sit down with me and you give me something in front of me, I can sit and run you through it all day long. But when you get to talking about something, about how to do it and everything, if you're like me, you forget 10 of the things you wanted to talk about in the first place, and you leave a lot out. But the only true way to sit down and learn how to do it is to get the program, get your recorder, sit down with it, and start playing with it.
Absolutely.
Go out, record, and come home, load it up on your computer, play with it. Now, if you're afraid that you're going to mess it up, make a copy of it.
Yeah.
And then play with the second copy that you made.
Yeah.
Leave the original alone, just use the copy.
Yeah.
And do that every time until you get comfortable enough that you can go in and do what you want to. Now, whenever I do all this and I change the speed and the pitch and everything like that, I'll make a copy of that one section that I'm trying to tell what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the recording, when I get through, when I X out of it, it says, "Do you want to save this?" No. I don't. I want to keep my original recording just like it was.
Right.
I won't save any of the changes that I made going into it, speed, pitch, or otherwise. Whenever you go in and you got your little words that you want to listen to, when you go in and save it, then you've saved that section.
Right.
So keep your original. But for a while, until you get used to it, make a second copy of it. Save it. Go back and listen to it. Well, maybe I can trick that out just a little bit more, bring it in a little bit clearer, or maybe I shouldn't have done it that much, and you can go back in and redo it again. So the only way to learn, people, is just to get it and try. Trial and error.
Good advice.
That's how I learned.
It's how we all have to learn. And as far as I know, there's no school of paranormal thingy there where it teaches you the prime directives of paranormal investigation and the how-tos and the wherefores.
Well, when I started the EVP part of, trying to learn how to do it and everything, I didn't even have nobody tell me what program that I could use. I had to basically just sit down and just start searching on the internet and see what I could find. Luckily, I came across the WayPad. Like I said, I love WayPad. It's nice, simple, and easy. There is an EXP Pro that is on download.com. It's a very good program, too. I have it also, and I use it to some extent, but the biggest majority of the work that I do is on WayPad.
Yeah, and there are a lot of programs out there. I've even heard some, well, I won't even go into that, so that'll just confuse the issue.
All right, fairly much, that's EVPs for this week. I mean, I know we didn't have a bunch on here like we normally do, and good, Class A, Class Bs, and this is what that said, and this is what that said. This is just I'm going out collecting EVP, and what do I do from there show.
This is not an EVP special, this is a technique.
Okay.
This is a technical show.
Well, Mike, it's always special when you're here.
You're only saying that because it's true. But anyway, all right then. Well, before I get verklempt, get geschmilkers in my skeneknikazoink. I guess that's been episode 32, huh?
And we didn't get off topic a lot.
Oh, bull butter.
We didn't get off what we normally do.
Not normally, but editing will.
I thought we was very nice this week.
Terribly nice. Thanks to everybody who sent in feedback about last week's show. Yes, I was very emotional towards the end of that show.
Last week's show was a good show.
I wasn't about to cry. I know it sounded like I was about to cry. But the last, I would say, 20 minutes of that show, what I talked about, my personal experience, and then my little commentary about hatred and tolerance and diversity and all, it means a lot to me. It means a whole lot to me.
And you can tell that.
And, I have the radio voice. I have the professional voice that I put on sometimes, and then I have my normal voice. But what that voice was the sincere. That was not me thinking about how I sounded or what I said. That was the real deal. And I think you folks could tell that. So hey, what else can you say?
Bye.
Pretty close, yeah. Appreciate you coming up, Dave.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you throwing this show together to get out here to the good folks. Hopefully we can do an EVP special at the end of this month. Yeah. We got about 4 weeks out.
Well, let me just say this too, because I'm sure she'll be listening, or at least I hope she will. Over the last 3 weeks, my wife and I both have been through the mill. She's lucky enough to have gotten on a home dialysis program. Mm-hmm. And we spent the last 3 weeks every day going back and forth from where we live to Chattanooga, which is about 80 miles round trip?
Yeah, it's about that.
Every day. And going for training on learning how to use this machine and everything. We finally got it set up in the house this morning and done her first dialysis treatment at home. And it's a world of difference. She feels so much better. She gets to do it now 6 days a week. Her color's gotten better. She's gotten better. She's stronger than she has been in years. So I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks that she's going to be able to continue her part of the program.
Some hot topic talk.
Yep.
I've got people chomping at the bit for that.
I'm hoping that within the next couple of weeks she's going to be back. And, we've neglected a lot here lately. We've had a lot of personal issues going on in our life with this training. And I've not been as active, and I ain't been on a good investigation, Mike, and I don't know how long.
Friday was the...
I haven't took any pictures, and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping now that we've got things squared away, things are going to get back to as normal as they can, and hopefully to be getting out and maybe collecting some more pictures and more EVPs.
Let's hope so. I'm glad to hear Cindy's doing better, too.
Yeah, she's doing a lot better.
Cindy, I love you, girl.
Me too. Even though you may not think I do sometimes, I really do.
Absolutely. Well, goodness. I'm at that point in the show where it's hard to say goodbye.
Been say so long.
Yeah. So long, farewell.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, seriously, I feel after last week's show that I should have some poignant word of wisdom, some life lesson, and I don't. I don't. Just, I know it sounds so Jerry Springer-ish, because he actually used to use a line like that at the end of his shows, but folks, take care of each other, and love each other, and again, respect that diversity. Red, yellow, black, or white, Christian, Muslim, Jew, whatever. Love each other, respect each other, and as long as it don't hurt you, then what does it hurt? Right?
Exactly.
And I love you, mean it, folks. I do. This show means a lot to me. And I think a lot of the folks that listen to this, and I think a lot of the folks that write in and call in to me, and I appreciate you a lot. I really do. Just one or two little words from you folks make my day. So thanks a lot. And if you're going to go out and do any investigating until we talk to you next time, be careful out there. Take an extra 5 seconds, do things right, and be safe. Your friends will appreciate it. Your family will appreciate it. You'll appreciate making it home all right. And I will certainly appreciate having you back here for the next episode of Georgia Paranormal Radio. Good night, everybody.
Child, retire, protest, live wire, check up. underground.